Football on the Central Coast has been played with pride and passion since 1952, when my father, Pat Morley, was the inaugural president of the Entrance Football Club, the very first football club on the coast. It has been about persevering the tough times, desperate tackles, and a battle for recognition that has created a new heartland for football in this country. We took a moment to interview a range of local icons to hear what football means to them. These stories and countless more typify the true spirit of football on the coast and will set the scene for chapters that are yet to be written.
My playing history started with the Entrance Soccer Club back then. Mum and Dad were life members. They did everything, they volunteered. Dad was president at one stage there, and Mum was in the canteen, and I just basically played around the field watching and playing in my own games on the Saturday, and then the senior grades. I feel like I was there, sort of 10 o'clock in the morning and stayed till about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And look, as a junior, we had a successful team, so I had a lot of lifelong friends from those early years. I'd have to stop at the 2010 grand final when I retired for a couple of years, but got itchy feet and came back and had a few friends playing for first grade, so I asked them about 6 games in if they wouldn't mind me having a kick with them, and we had a really good year and won the grand final. And it's pretty hard to top that one, because I actually saw a photo recently where it was a picture of Andrew Clark and myself that were playing for the Mariners. I think we were hugging each other for a photo after training one day, and right next to it was actually a photo of when we were standing together for under 11s for the Central Coast Coasties. So that brought back a lot of memories. When you're playing for the Mariners and you've been brought up on the Central Coast, I think that's huge. I think that actually gives you, that an added advantage. You really, because you know that there's people in the crowd there that you've been brought up with. There's family members, there's friends, and that's a lot of the time why I like to go and watch even just the Entrance play, because there's people involved that I've had some connection with, and I think that's where the Mariners have got their best. That's where they're going to get their best results in terms of people going to watch them, is because there's a connection there. I love going to watch the Entrance play on a Sunday afternoon because the people that I know are connected. So I'm really wanting the team to win because I know what it's like for them, how they're going to feel. So, and that first year at the Mariners, when there was probably, I'm not sure, 5, 6, 7 local juniors. How good is that for a community to come out, because they've had some connection with those players, and I know I had a lot of people behind me, supporting me week in and week out, and I hope that continues, especially for the Mariners. The Mariners, for me, I'll always be a part of it, and I'm happy to give back whenever I can, and I hope one day my kids sort of look back and think that's a pretty big thing too. That's a big achievement for me, and one that I'll never forget with Laurie giving that to me. I think it was good promotion as well at the time. A local boy, first signing. So I think, I've tried to give back as much as I can. It's amazing, with my senior career, I was in 6 grand finals. I was lucky enough to be in 6 grand finals in my senior career, and the only one I lost was that I was actually playing in was that first one against Sydney FC in the inaugural grand final. But that's still my fondest memory. So my only grand final I lost is my best moment. And that week of the grand final, obviously it was a great year. I think we'd gone 12 games unbeaten just to get into the grand final, to come up against Sydney FC. That week I think I did more promotional work than actually training sessions. It was great. It was such a big buzz, and for my whole family to be down there and supporting. I know we lost 1-0. It would have been nice to win, but it just would have been icing on the cake, because it was a great week. Biggest moment of my life to be there in front of 40,000. The way we gelled, the effort, everyone knew their roles. You went out there and you just gave it your best shot, and we all knew each other. Like I knew what Gumprek was thinking, almost, or Pondiac or Merger. You knew the way they played, and it wasn't. It's not something that can always be coached. It's just something that and we had a really hard grafting, hard working team that played for each other, and Laurie made us that way. He got us to want to play for each other. The Central Coast Mariners has given, it's almost like completed that pathway. There was always something missing. So to have the Mariners and the juniors on the coast, it's almost like completed their pathway. They've always had their local clubs. They've had the Central Coast Coasties or Mariners Academy, there was nothing, there was never anything to finish off, and that's why I, went to Newcastle, I went to Sydney and went to Canberra and went to all these different places because it was never there. But now they've got something, the juniors on the Central Coast got something to strive for. They've got that badge to play for, so they're looking for that. That's the ultimate goal for them, for my kids, for all the other kids. Finally we've got that, and we shouldn't take it for granted.